What is good, all you comic commandos? Welcome back to the Comic Man Andy Comic Cave and Comic Dojo. It's new comic book day. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. And get ready for content every week, comic book related stuff. It's new comic book day. Holy sheet. The work is paying off. And what does that mean? That's it. That's all we picked up for new comic book day. We made some cutbacks, second prints, other prints, some ratio variants, but we're going to get into the chat tonight and hang out a little bit. We're going to go over these comic book reads, and then we're going to do it all over again for any of the late showers. What is good, everybody? Welcome back again. And it's kind of a light week, isn't it? Last week was so busy and so heavy, and there was so much going on. This week, it's kind of a breath of fresh air to dial it back a little bit. Kind of chill out a little bit more. So what did we do? We bought a bunch of extra bags and boards still. I was so happy to see my LCS get restocked with my favorite bags and my favorite boards chalked to the ceiling almost. They had a ton of them. It was good to pick those up. That was awesome. But we're going to do like we always do. We're going to start right out with some Marvel love because no DC action this week. JP budget collecting. That's it. Andy had discipline. I just remembered to send the email to say, hey, let's not get the extra printings and extra ratios for some other titles. But JP, man, good to see you. We're going to dive right into this. Yes, that's it. I had discipline. Yeah. I feel like I do this every year, like the first quarter or the end of the first quarter of every year. I dial it back a little bit until some new major titles announced or something crazy like that. But starting out with Marvel, browse the DC section. Still nothing really kind of caught my eye and hadn't really heard much of anything going on DC wise that I really wanted to check out. So Star Wars, Halcyon, I do this every week. Halcyon Legacy issue 2 is out. 3 great covers. And I'm starting to really kind of understand this issue now. Or not this issue, but this series. Because I thought this had some ties to the High Republic era, like when they were doing some flashbacks. No. It's the ship and the memories that the ship carries. I can't remember how long. Was it a millennia or something like that? The ship's been around. I mean, something amazingly long. So it's a very storied, very historied ship. And I get it now. Really cool. They're going more connecting covers. So here's the connecting cover variant with a rune on there. Is it a rune? A Ra? Terrible with names every week, but still. So they got a connecting cover that's out for that as well. And they've got another variant cover. But I get it now. When the first issue kind of came out, I was kind of a little confused. Like, where are they tying these time frames kind of in together? And I realized the theme with issue 2 now is that it's the memories of the ship. Right? It's the memories of the ship. So the next several issues, that should be pretty much kind of par for the courses. We get a little one-shot story of what happened with something in the past with the ship, a memory of the ship and some of the guests on it, while we're still kind of following along on the main timeline. Interesting. I see where it's going. I hope it's done pretty well. But you know what? Brian from Simpleman's Comics made it a very interesting point on Comic News Weekly last night, where essentially it's a primer to build the backstory of that, not event, but that's it. What do they have going down in Florida where you can get 2 hotel night stays at basically this cruiser and that whole inclusive experience? So it sounds like they're basically building backstory for that ship, for that experience. Dale of Suspense, what is up, man? Comic Madness Andy. It is not Comic Madness Andy. It is comic appropriate Andy. I don't know. We only got a couple issues today. It was nice to kick back and just read a few issues. Now that's it. That's it for Marvel. That's all I grabbed from Marvel. You're gonna be like, Andy, Marvel, and you're gonna be like, Andy, you're crazy. Why isn't dark spelled with a C? But because you can't see in the dark. Speaking of seeing, JP, man, how do you get a blind man to see? You buy him a boat. That's it for Marvel. Like we said, this is gonna be quick. It's a little more indies going on this week, but Walking Dead Deluxe 35 is out. I'm really loving this cover. This cover, if you are a fan of the series and have been reading, you realize what's happening here. This is the issue where Glenn goes body diving looking for an engagement ring for Maggie, and you're like, ugh. And they're back. They've cleaned out the prison. who they thought was going to be an ally in addition to their team disappears. Uh-oh. Back to Woodbury. So this is where it's going to start getting crazy again. So 35 is a little bit of a kind of pumping the brakes, kind of chillaxing in the story. Not even really chillaxing in the story a little bit, but it's about to get crazy. It's about to get hectic. It builds. The beat's building there. Next up, Time Before Time issue 11 is out. I'm very intrigued by the cover, and I can't wait to get caught up on the series because I'm having a difficult time staying focused and staying attached, figuring out like the time jump. Sure, they put the year when they jump times, but why are we? I'm kind of having a hard time following the story, so I'm imagining it's going to read a lot better in a chunk, the old chunkaroo read, instead of trying to read everything month to month. But yeah, we'll see how that one goes. Does anybody else feel weird after the time change? Like, I feel like off. I feel like out of place. This doesn't feel like a normal Wednesday. It's like this box that's got me in here is all jacked up. And we're definitely off by an hour, and it definitely feels weird. Next up, Skybound Image, StillWater, The Escape. Now, StillWater's been a fun ride from Zdarsky, and I didn't even know that they were going to release a one-shot. And if I'm gonna have to guess, I mean, it's called The Escape, so maybe they, instead of finishing out this series month to month, they just throw a one shot out to close the story. I didn't get a chance to read it yet, but like I said, Stillwater's been a fun ride from Zdarsky, so I'm pretty excited to get into this to find out how this escape goes, so to speak. Why can't a cow follow directions and get anything done? Because it goes in one ear and out the other. You're gonna keep milking that one, aren't you? And then moving on to Boom Studios, Basilisk issue 8 is out. I flipped through this and kind of checked out the art, and the art looks pretty good. I think I'm one issue behind on Basilisk. I think I got to read like half of 6 and maybe 7 and and then 8. But it's one of those things where I was keeping an eye out. For those of you that have not picked up your books today and are going to be going out in the next several days, keep your eye on that 1 in 25 Jenny Frizen for Basilisk number 8. Killer cover. I should have preloaded a picture to show you guys, but we talked about that on Simpleman's Comics News Weekly last night, and it's a killer cover. So if you find it sitting around in an LCS and it's cheap, like it's really cheap, don't hesitate to grab it. I'm sure there's somebody else out there that wants it. If you don't, spread that love, so to speak, because it is a killer cover. And then that's it. This is the last book. The last book. This is going to be the shortest Wednesday show ever. The last book, really, seriously, the last book you'll ever read, issue 6 is out from Vault. Like I said, I can't quite remember. Oh, I ordered it because it's Cullen Bunn. That's why. It's got Cullen Bunn's name on the title. That's why I ordered it. And every time it's come out, it's always hit the bottom of the pile, and I've always forgotten to read it. So now that issue 6 is out, it's generally 6 issues is about the chunk of a story arc. So maybe it's time to just sit down, dig out those other books, and sit down and read them all. But we were on a massive mission to overhaul. Monday's definitely bleeding into Wednesday. We're on a massive mission to overhaul the entire collection and reorganize it, because at some point you get some busy days in there, and your new comic book day pickups, once you've read them, just kind of get thrown in a box. And after a while, if you're not labeling boxes, you can't find that box when there are 45, 55 other boxes. So there's a lot of books that I cannot find right now. That means it's time to reorganize the collection and get into there. But we got JP and Dale just dropping dad jokes constantly. Why can't a cow follow directions again? Because it goes one ear out to udder. Absolutely. But what do you call a cow with no legs? By golly, that one's ground beef. Let that one simmer there for a minute. But ground beef, absolutely. So yeah, there is. Hello, sir. I've been really into a book about the science behind anti-gravity, and man, let me tell you, it's impossible to put down. It's just show up just to troll and have a good time. But yeah, that's a slow Wednesday, right? I've heard it pretty much from everybody that today is going to be a pretty quiet new comic book day, which is fine, which is great. The only other thing really kind of going on is I placed an order for some books from Things from Another World, and we got 3 copies of Darth Vader 20, the silver border second print. So that came in. Not much else. It's a kind of a nice, quiet week. It seems like summer or spring's ready to start, and people are going to be spending a lot of time outside. And it's going to be really nice. Maybe we do a live stream from the back deck one of these days. Interesting. That's an interesting thing to think about. But then for announcements, just Monday night, we did a almost marathon 3-hour live stream on Modern Comic Mondays with the Ninth Wonder guest host here. And we looked at comic book speculation and what that, if that hurts the hobby, does it hurt the hobby, and what kind of effect it does have. And the idea behind that show, that episode, was really to have a very long, kind of drawn out discussion to talk to people and say everybody's opinion is valued. Everybody's opinion carries weight, carries value, and we all deserve to talk to each other and be heard out and have a healthy conversation, have a healthy debate, because uniqueness and diversity can bring debate, right? Well, healthy debate can bring knowledge, and knowledge can bring growth. And if we don't talk to each other, if we don't debate some things, if we don't have a good time and approach and talk about some of these topics, how will we ever grow as a community or as readers in our own right? And how will we ever be successful in bringing in that next generation of comic book collectors, our own children or their children? Or it's something to sit and ponder on. So take a look at that Modern Comic Mondays this past Monday. It's posted live on the channel. It's posted on the channel right now. It is a long episode. Break it off in chunks, or just hit that like button, watch certain portions of it, or just hit it on play when you're bagging and boarding this weekend and check it out. It's been a really good, healthy conversation with a lot of people, and I'm glad a lot of people chimed in. And the funny thing is when we did the vote, it was almost split all the way down the middle with like 85 votes. I'd have to go back and watch the replay, but I think there were 85 votes, and it was almost split 50-50. Almost split 50-50. So it's very divisive, or divisive. Yeah, it's a very divisive, dividing kind of content, not content, but topic. When you think about comic book speculation, some people put that as one thing, and without getting too far off in tangent, they think it's like one definition. I want to approach the discussion as comic book speculation has many definitions and used in many different ways. Some not so great, some very great. Either way, it's one thing to continue having a conversation about. And we'll probably do another episode like that going on in the future at some point, with Ninth Wonder maybe coming back and maybe some other guests, because anybody in the comic book community that is interested in having conversations like that, open, healthy discussions and debates, please let me know. We're always looking to, I'm always adding other topics to talk about and other fun things. So continuing announcements, so to speak. This Friday, we're going to get back on for Friday Night Fire on the Whatnot app, have a little bit of fun there, find out what we've missed since we were on vacation last week. And by golly, we hit 1,200 subscribers on YouTube. I appreciate each and every one of you guys subscribing and hanging out for the content. That means we are on the road to 1,300. It's just going to keep the beats building. It's going to keep going. Really appreciate everybody's feedback, good and or bad or even neutral. Feedback is how we grow and thrive as content creators and individuals. But let's get back in this chat again before we go. We'll go over the books again because it went so quick. We're 13 minutes in and we're almost done with the show, but we'll be here for just a little bit. I've been really into, oh God, the book about science behind anti-gravity. Man, let me tell you, it's impossible to put down. That is a good one. You can't run through a campground anymore. You could only ran through because it's past tense. Oh, yeah, I used that one at work about a month ago. That was pretty good. Why did Spider-Man's evil twin fail his driver's test? Because he was a bad parallel parker. That's a good one. In fact, I actually used that one earlier today on an employee at work that has that as a last name. And I spun right around and said, Parker, get me more pictures of Spider-Man. And nobody laughed. And everybody's like, huh? And I'm like, oh, crap. There's that. There's that sign. I'm getting old. But yeah, good one, Christian and JP. Comic You Crazy, what is up? Thank you for being here. Good to see you again. Thank you for being here again. Yes. Thanks, Dale. Christian, you did a good job with that discussion. Thanks, man. I want to do that topic again at some point with other people on, and also look at some other topics like that. I know over the years as we collect, the hobby kind of morphs and changes, and there's some hot button topics over the years that have kind of come and gone, but it seems like comic book speculation is just there to stay. Always there. It's ever present in all the years that I've been collecting, as far as I know. Mihu Seaman, what is up? Good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. Good to see you tomorrow, man. And JP says, yesterday at 8 o'clock, it was very time consuming, especially when I went back for seconds. I wish I would have remembered that one. That's a good one. Vincent McLean, the comic machine. What up, buddy? What was the damage? We're about to get into these books again. The damage, what did I do with that receipt? That was the shortest receipt I've ever had. Hola, Vincent. What's up, guys? Michael, good to see you. Hey, Andy, I bought some comics and still haven't received them. Oh, good Lord, yeah. It's because I printed everything off and forgot the I forgot the mailer in the bag. I can't necessarily just bring it to work. I'll ship the empty mailer and bring you the comics to work, man. Absolutely love that 1 in 25 Vader 3. Yes, right there. That is going to be primed to go out for cleaning and pressing soon. And fingers crossed, we're looking at like a 9.4, 9.6. We're looking at a really high grade candidate. I'm pretty excited for that one, because now that means the copy that we had on preview here technically wasn't mine. It was the CEO's. So that went back to her. So there's our first real copy. And oh man, it's only got a very subtle, slight little bit of rub on the back cover, the typical stuff from the printers. And I don't think they're really forgiving that, even though it kind of comes from the printers. Maybe they do slightly, but it's got super sharp corners. It's a super clean copy. Really looking forward to getting that one graded. Is Basilisk a good read? I haven't read it so far. Tyler, I've enjoyed it, but I'll be honest with you, it was a little underwhelming for some of us. Some other people in the community absolutely love it. I think there's a little bit of a fence that some people are on one side and some people are on the other. I've enjoyed it as a read, but it's not anything I went full ham on. I didn't collect the extra prints. I didn't collect any of the variants, really. I just stuck to cover A's, and it's been okay, but in the land of comic books right now, it just kind of plays second fiddle to a lot of other titles. And I think Colin Bunn could have pushed the envelope a little bit more, in my opinion. It's a solid read. Maybe grab it in a trade or read it digitally to see if it's something. I don't recall whether that's going to be a mini series or whether it's going to be an ongoing series. I think Paul Dunn, if he's in here or if he shows up a little bit here, had said that it was going to be like a 12 or 16 issue series. So I don't think it's going to be going on forever, but either way, it's worth checking out if you like Colin Bunn stuff. I'll say that. If you're a fan of Something Is Killing the Children, it kind of has a little bit of art vibe like that. And yeah, look for a digital copy. Maybe go to Comixology and read the first issue. Sometimes if you go to a publisher's website, like maybe Boom per se, they might even have the first issue to read for free. I know some publishers have done that with series where you could actually go and read the first issue for free on their website or get it downloaded from them. That's also something that you can check out pretty much. Andy, good news. My liver wasn't pregnant. Wait, what? Just the tip. 3 guys are walking. 2 of them walking to the bar. The third guy ducks. That is a quacker of a good joke. Yes, absolutely, Steve, man. This is... you guys throw so many dad jokes at me now that I can't even remember the ones that I had earlier today. But there were some good ones. So let's dive back into the books with everybody here watching right now. And we're going to go backwards. The last book that we picked up today is fittingly called The Last Book You'll Ever Read, issue 6. Once again, the reason why I added this to the pull list was it had Colin Bunn writing it, and I wanted to check it out. And unfortunately, the first couple of issues fell to the reading pile, and then the reading pile essentially got lost. When trying to clean and organize down here, the reading pile got lost at one point. So I'm trying to find the rest of the issues, and then I can sit down and read all of this in one shot, because that's just kind of how some of these small indie titles have gone lately. Is it's been harder to read some of them month to month, and it just seems like getting them on a reading pile and getting 3 or 4 issues in one shot seems to do the stories a little bit more justice. But yes, Basilisk 8 is out. Now, if you have not been to your LCS and you're going to be going out tomorrow or Friday or even Saturday, keep your eyes peeled for that 1 in 25 Jenny Frizen. It is a gorgeous cover. If it is cheap, grab it. What do I mean by cheap? Well, take a look at sold prices, actual sold completed listings on eBay. Pay attention to some live streams on Whatnot. See if anybody's selling one and kind of see what they go for. Anytime you find a numbered ratio, like 1 in 50, 1 in 25, 1 in 75, if it's priced at or below ratio, It oftentimes is safe, but double check and do the homework before you go in there so you have an idea of what asking prices should or could be. And if it's not there and it's way under, then you're going to be excited about finding a deal, right? So just make sure you're doing your homework, educating yourself before you start hunting some of those other ratios or other variants out there that kind of become the hot book of the week. If you need them for your collection, if you're a completionist collector, sometimes that's where you pump the brakes and you wait several weeks to a month or several months. Wait for that book to cool off. You're looking for that downward trend to pick up that ratio variant. But next up is The Walking Dead Deluxe 35. I'll say it like I say it every other week. I continue to really enjoy reading this issue to issue as it comes out in full color because I'm kind of getting that nostalgia, reliving that experience from back in the day. So that's fun. That was kind of like a little bit of a slower issue. They gain the prison grounds back, essentially get to cleaning up, and then Glenn's like, "Wait, let me dive into all these bodies and look for a wedding ring," and that's kind of gross. And they lose one of the underling characters that I can't. Otis. I think Otis passed away, or Otis got eaten alive. And they thought Herschel got bit, but Herschel got shot. It's just a fun time. How's a zombie apocalypse fun? It's a good read. I enjoy it. Then next up, StillWater, The Escape. And things have been quiet with StillWater towards the end of this series. And I wonder if it's because they took a little bit of a break or hiatus to the point where they decided to wrap up the story with a one-shot called The Escape. Because essentially, if you've read deep into the story, there's an escape element. People are trying to get away from this town. And that leads me to believe that instead of continuing the story and ongoing or finishing out the series or whatever, it's might be wrapped up in this one shot. Haven't read it, flipped through it, looked at the art, realized that it's probably like an issue and a half behind on StillWater. So there it is, hitting the reading pile. I hope I don't lose this reading pile. But speaking of struggling with reading, Time Before Time 11 is out. And the reason why I added this and stuck with this is because I wanted to support Declan Shalvey. Declan Shalvey has done some amazing work in the past. He's writing this series. But if you guys are in love with what's going on with Moon Knight right now, and you've seen that Warren Ellis run of Moon Knight, that first 6-issue arc, well, Declan Shalvey is the artist that depicted Moon Knight in that series, which is essentially the way that they're adapting Moon Knight to screen. So hooray for Declan Shalvey's imagination and art and skill and ability to create Mark Spector Moon Knight in that fashion, to the point where it's just epic. And the way he uses negative space in a opposite way than what we're accustomed to seeing on covers. You guys will like it. I think you guys should check out Moon Knight, check out Declan Shalvey's art. But this is why I picked up this issue, is because I wanted to support Declan Shalvey and check out more of his writing. He's got a book out called Bog Bodies, if I remember the name correctly. That was pretty good. And really kind of wanted to keep following him as a creator. I will say that the way this is paced has made it really difficult to read month to month. So I've been letting this stack up to read as a chunk, like kind of instead of just waiting for the trade to come out, I'll pull the 10 or 11 issues out and just sit down and read them all in one shot. This is a fairly quick read. This isn't a time consuming or labor intensive read by any means. So to be able to grab 11 issues of this and sit down, it'd probably be a nice little lunchtime break read over the course of an hour and a half, something like that. Pretty decent. But that brings us to Marvel. That brings us to Star Wars Halcyon Legacy. Halcyon? I did it again. Halcyon Legacy. So you got this nice cover price variant here. Then you've got the cover A is probably what a lot of people have said has been their favorite this week for Star Wars covers, because it seems like every week is a Star Wars week now. And this is E.M. Geist, if I remember correctly. And this is I love the colors in this, and I love what they're doing here. Wait till you see the cover for issue 3. And then the connecting variant, because now if you are collecting Star Wars books, apparently they're doing connecting variants for every title of Star Wars. That's fine. If they keep them at cover price, I'm okay with that, because if they keep them at cover price, it's not going to be super hard to bounce around to different LCSs and find if these sell out. The only difference is a la Crimson Reign and the Knights of Ren connecting covers. Seems like people have been after that. Did I say Knights of Rain? Knights of Ren. Knights of Ren, the connecting variants. Seems like people are after those because they're speculating on New Comic Book Day. But that being said, that's New Comic Book Day. This is the lightest, chillest, easiest. Let's give them a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books to read, 8 total covers. Nice. Nice. I call that a win. I call that a success. Now, what does that mean? That doesn't mean I'm supporting my LCS less. In fact, I spent $50-ish on bags and boards, maybe even 60. Brought a big stack of bags and boards home because they finally have my favorite Comic Care bags and boards back in for Silver Age stuff that I love utilizing those in the collection because I feel like they've got a little bit of give, a little bit of stretch. That polypropylene, I think, or poly. It's not poly. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't feel like the corners get all dinged up in those bags. But let's hit up this chat again one more time before we go over announcements and call it an early night. A priest and a rabbit walk into a bar. The rabbit says, I think I might be a typo. God. Mark, what do you call a typo on a headstone? Buddy, you call that a grave mistake. Elbow cough. What's the last thing Tickle Me Elmo gets before leaving the factory? 2 testicles. That one's good. That one's good. Oh, man, that one's really good. Okay, I'm done, he says. That's hilarious, man. My boss told me to have a good day, so I went home. Yeah, I did too. Sundays are always a little sad, but the day before is a Saturday. Yeah, that one's, man. Tyler L., I missed out on buying the first issue of Knights of Ren cover when no one was looking for it. Wait for that downward trend and dip because I'm sure that there's going to be a lull in information when it comes to Knights of Ren, and look for people to be selling that whole set, that whole connected set for just over cover price, trying to basically move volume or move stuff out of the way, or, essentially comic book collecting becomes like the shell game to some degree. You're just moving comics around, getting rid of some. I mean, that's essentially kind of where I'm at to some degree, whereas I'm out of storage room. So that's why I choose to hop on Whatnot and do dollar starts every Friday to just get stuff out, because I'm never going to stop collecting comic books. What I'm doing is I'm really honing in on what my personal collection is going to end up being over time. So a lot of the stuff, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago that I thought was going to be part of my personal collection, I've decided to move away from and move on. And that's kind of where I do that. But Tyler, you got at least issues 2 and 3. That's awesome. I think 2 was one of the harder ones to get. 3 seemed to be pretty easy. I got that right in my pull list. But 2, I actually had to hunt for a bit. And I don't feel like a ton of copies were ordered. But that's New Comic Book Day. What a nice day to kick back, relax, and read a couple of books. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if this is your first time here. Kick that notification bell and tickle one of those reaction buttons down there as well. Let them know you guys are having fun, or even if you dislike it. You can't see dislikes anymore. I don't think the dislike button really serves whole much of a purpose except for just kind of honing that algorithm for people finding this content on their page right off the beginning, but that doesn't quite happen. This comic book community is an amazing thing, but realistically, it's a very, very, very small percentage of what happens on YouTube on a daily, regular basis. But yeah, and then let's dipping into announcements, Whatnot this Friday Night Fire. We're going to have a fun little show there. That's going to be a probably 20, 30, maybe even 35 book auction with you guys want to see some Star Wars keys? Maybe we do a little. I mean, we're kind of like getting primed and ready for the first week of May, for May the 4th be with you, but might have a little bit more fun this Friday. We'll see what's going on. I didn't get a chance to unbox the CDC package yet. If I can get that done tonight or tomorrow night, there might be some epic CDC copies that hit Friday night on Whatnot as well. So make sure you pop over there. The link is down below where you can find me on Whatnot. Just click that link and hit subscribe over there as well. There he is, the co-bearded warrior. What is up, Diecast? Speaking of which, Diecast had a show earlier today. Diecast is also on Whatnot, so make sure you follow Diecast over there. Very cool. And then we talked about Modern Comic Mondays this week and how important that show was, at least to me, to sit down and have a good, healthy debate and discussion about what comic book speculation, what, if any, hurt comic book speculation is bringing to the hobby. And I think that was pretty interesting. I know a lot of people said it was a good watch. So I'm happy that people are finding value in that, and that'll help me kind of hone into what we do on some content as well. But man, yeah, that's New Comic Book Day. This is Wednesday. I'm ComicManAndy. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We've gone over announcements. We've gone into the books this week twice now. We've welcomed everybody in the chat. So welcome, everybody, if you're new to comic book collecting. Because this connective tissue, this comic books is fantastic, right? But the most fantastic thing are all of you amazing humans, each and every one of you, every day coming in and out of the comic book community, checking out the content, supporting anybody that's making content, and then becoming inspired and making your own content and helping to build and grow the community, especially the comic book community, right? And then the content community is there as well. But you guys know how I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to go peace out. I'm going to go pinkies out. I'm going to catch you on the flip side for the next one. And remember, the most important part, all day, every day, stay original and take care of each other. Have a great week. Have a great week. Have a great week, everybody. And we will see you guys very soon. Stay tuned. Like I said, hit subscribe for that CDC unboxing coming up. 10 modern slabs coming back. Are we going to get all 9/8? I know there's a lot of Dr. Afras in there. I know there's a lot of Darth Vader 3s in there. So this could be epic. So stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you see when that CDC unboxing drops. Have a great night, everybody, and see you soon.
Be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes.
Excuse me while I change. The holler boogie has made me sweaty. Yeah, sweaty.
Switch to targeting computer.
I love gold.